got a little cash at the bank, and I smoke a little if it's dank. I can make you bust a loose. I'll call for troops if I stare at you. But I gotta keep myself in check and keep an eye on the line while I place my bets. You can leave it all to roulette, but a fall like that might break your neck. So get ready for the Mass Effect. Get ready to assess the vet. I don't mean no disrespect. It ain't happened now, it ain't happened then, no. Making up a scene, you know what I mean? Nothing but a drama queen, but I'll give you that you're captivating. But it's nauseating when you say that you're a superstar. You can't bring me down, I see the way you're operating. Watch me turn around, see the lights go out and hear the engine fading. Superstar, you ain't a part of me. I'm Mr. Turn You Down, you're Mr. Dichotomy. I got that constant shake, drum, mumble, stumble, hesitate. It's a little hard to concentrate when I bite my tongue in cold restraint. That 909 and that 808 and that bump and bass are gonna bust your face. I'm off a social race, but that fake ass shit gets me irate. Let's go ahead and face the facts. If you wonder why you can't relax, it ain't nothing but an heart attack, and that's tip attack, and you handle that, no. Making up a scene, you know what I mean? Nothing but a drama queen, but I ain't saying that I'm mad at you. It just ain't the truth when you say that you're a superstar. You can't bring me down, I see the way you're operating. Watch me turn around, see the lights go out and hear the engine fading. Superstar, you ain't a part of me. I'm Mr. Turn You Down, you're Mr. Dichotomy. Superstar, you can't bring me down, I see the way you're operating. Watch me turn around, see the lights go out and hear the engine fading. Superstar, you ain't a part of me. I'm Mr. Turn You Down, you're Mr. Dichotomy. At the bank, and I smoke a little if it's dank. I can make you bust a loose. I'll call for truce if I stare at you. But I gotta keep myself in check and keep an eye on the line while I place my bets. You can leave it all to roulette, but a fall like that might break your neck. So get ready for the Mass Effect. Get ready to assess the vet. I don't mean no disrespect. It ain't happened now, it ain't happened then, nah. Making up a scene, you know what I mean? Nothing but a drama queen, but I'll give you that you're captivating. But it's nauseating when you say that you're a superstar. And you can't bring me down, I see the way you're operating. Watch me turn around, see the lights go out and hear the engine fading. Superstar, you ain't a part of me. I'm Mr. Turn You Down, you're Mr. Dichotomy. Superstar, you can't bring me down, I see the way you're operating. Watch me turn around and see the lights go out and hear the engine fading. Superstar, you ain't a part of me. I'm Mr. Turn You Down, you're Mr. Dichotomy. You're Mr. Dichotomy.
Hey!
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, welcome back to Van Philosophy. Thanks for joining us here and being back and hanging out with us and chatting with us and dealing with our weird little flubbies there at the beginning.
Red flubbies?
I was looking at the little, like, going a little orange, going a little red.
Doesn't know. That now.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows what's happening?
It's fun.
But that last song that you guys just heard on the little preview, you guys can find that. Where can you find that at?
You can find it at Roshambeaux.com. And you just go click the little shop tab.
You click the little shop.
You can get it.
You can get it.
And but you know, you can also get it on Spotify.
Yeah, it's on Spotify.
It's on YouTube Music. It's on iTunes. It's wherever you get music. So if you're like, man, I do the Apple Music thing, like it's on there. So go get it.
Go check it out. It's all good. But first off, we have an awesome topic for you guys today. We're doing resolutions, which I was pretty pumped. Like, we were supposed to do it last week, but we had a little bit of a health scare. But everybody's good. But anyway, we wanted to go over like what we have coming up because we have some shows coming up this month, right?
We do.
And we have the one on January 22nd at Club 134.
Club 134
in Anderson. So if you guys are in Anderson or near Anderson, come out and check that out. What's the following weekend?
So then we have Somerville, South Carolina, the following
Montrose.
weekend. Montrose. That's a cool place.
Yeah.
So if you're in the Charleston area, Somerville area, come check it out. And then we are shooting over to Augusta the next night.
Yeah.
And I love Augusta. The Loft is a great spot. It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. It's like, I feel like a lot of times starting out as a musician, you'd get some dates together and you'd only be excited about a couple of them, on the list.
Right.
But like now I'm like, I love all these places. This is going to be awesome.
It is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
All these are really, really cool places. It's going to be a really good time. But I think that's it as far as, our new record. We did send it off to be pressed. They give us like an estimate of whenever it's going to be done in-house. And I think they said, was it January 17th or the 20th? Usually they're a bit early. So I'm thinking like maybe the 17th or 18th, we'll have that in hand. And then we'll be able to ship it out to you guys. So if you did pre-order the hard copies, be sure to be on the lookout because they're going to be coming your way soon.
And you can still pre-order a copy if you haven't right now, and then you'll get them really soon. You won't have to have the wait that everyone else had.
Right, yeah, there's still a few available. So if you're thinking about picking up one, get on there and put the order in because you're going to want to. But anyway, let's get into the what's up, man. So what have you been up to this week?
This week I had a rough start this week. We had a big storm, and I was out of power for a couple days. And the tree gods just decided to just throw everything at me. So the garage had multiple spots where there was like a tree that had like torpedoed in.
You never sent me pictures. You just kind of explained.
I'll show you pictures.
Okay.
I got pictures.
Okay.
Because I had to get pictures for the insurance company.
Yeah.
So there's like a big tree like stuck in the roof, and then a couple other limbs that had sliced and pierced other places, took out the gutter, and my car as well.
What exactly? You drove your car?
It was just the windshield.
Okay.
And the windshield guys are coming on Monday to just come in and pop in a new one. So it like the car's still drivable, but the windshield took
a hit.
Took a hit. Yeah.
I'll have to go look at that.
Could have been way worse.
Yeah.
No one was hurt, so that was a good thing. But yeah, it was a rough start. But after I got back at it, kind of got back on. I didn't think we were gonna get the blog out because I was like, I don't have power.
Like, you lost power for like a couple of days.
But I got it it was like the night before, so I was like, hey, got power. Send me your WhatsApp. I'll do my WhatsApp. We'll get everything going because we have a lot of stuff coming up this month.
There's a lot to talk about.
Wanted to get it all out.
Yeah.
And then so the rest of the week I've been working on just booking pitches, because that's what you do, when you're an independent artist.
Wait, so we're gonna have even more shows coming up this year?
We will have even more shows coming up this year. Yes.
I know, that's so exciting, dude. Like, it's kind of weird. It seems kind of surreal because we've been going so long with like kind of this light load, and I think we are still gonna like try to take it a little bit easier than we were this year, but
yeah, it won't be a repeat of 2019.
No,
2019 was a heavy tour year.
That was called panic-inducing misery.
Well, when you do Altoona to Tampa in 2 days, like
I
don't think I ever want to do that again. Unless we get a plane.
It was with the van breaking down in between too. Like it was like the van would be breaking down and we'd be over there and we had to shoot back over here in a couple of days and then like we still had some weird car issues and
But we did it.
We did it. We made it back. Yeah. For me, like this week, I've just been like hunkering down on the new cover video, man. Like I've been like killing it for the last 3 days. I think this is my 3rd day. But fun fact, it's finished. I think. Kyle, is it finished? I showed it to you.
I think it's finished.
Okay. So I showed it to Kyle.
You're welcome to look at it again, but like I saw it and I felt like I was looking at something that was finished.
Okay.
The shots in this one, I think I like. What is it? The word cinematography.
Yeah.
Of it. Like there's just a lot of like swoops and stuff.
Kyle did a good job this time.
I did. Yeah. I did some of the
normally,
shots.
But this time.
So Jay's gonna look really good.
Killed it. Killed it. But yeah, so I've been focusing on that, trying to get that out and going. I mean, I'm talking about hours every day, like hours and hours and hours every day. But now that it's finished, I'm super pumped. And
you don't think that takes a lot? But then you're sitting there and you're like, I gotta get these 2 seconds to line up, and it's tedious.
Well, and even if I seem a little tired today, you guys, it's because my brain gets cheesy. So like when
mac and cheese.
It does. It gets so cheesy. So like even like yesterday, like I went to the card shop and was gonna go play some games and kind of help figure out some stuff and chat about some things. And I was just like, oh yeah, I can't operate after I'm doing like video editing like for like 6 hours plus a day. I'm just like the rest of the day. Like I feel that today.
It's like you're wearing like drunk goggles.
Yeah.
You ever do that at the fair? I remember it was like the police station would come and they'd give you these special goggles and make you walk the line.
Right.
And you were all like, you was like drunk simulator or something.
Yeah. There's that, and I've been getting into. I didn't really talk much about this in the blog, but I have been diving more into that business venture with my brother, trying to get that stuff all figured out, and hopefully next week some like the steps are going to start rolling along.
That's cool.
We're hoping to get it going. I don't know. I'll fill you guys in more details as soon as it becomes more palatable of what it's going to be. But yeah, I'm excited about it. It should be fun. Should be good. But yeah, that's what's been going on with me. But we're going to go ahead and get into the topic. We're talking about resolutions, or resolution. Kyle likes to leave everything singular.
I thought you told me resolution when you texted it to me.
Maybe I mistyped it. I don't know. It could be either one.
I've been paying attention to that because there's one time I was like, well, shouldn't it be this? And you were like, no, it should be this. I typed it that way.
I don't know. But let's go ahead and get into the topic. If you guys want to share your resolutions with us, please do. If you have anything, any kind of input on the conversation, put it there in the chat, and we'll respond to it as soon as it pops up. But what are resolutions, man?
So a resolution is a firm decision to do or to not do something.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what a resolution means.
To do or to not do something.
Yeah, but it's a firm decision. You're making a decision ahead of time.
Okay.
To do or to not do something.
Right.
So you can say, I resolve to not eat those potato chips.
Right.
Or I resolve to get better at driving stick shift, or like whatever it is. You know? So we do New Year's resolutions a lot.
Right.
And I remember kind of thinking like, does people really do that? Is that a thing? And I went and looked it up, and only 31% of people, at least in the United States, make New Year's resolutions.
How do they determine that?
I wonder if it's Nielsen.
Yeah. They're asking, did you make a New Year's resolution this year?
I know there is a specific company in the United States, and I don't know if it's associated with the census. I'm imagining it's not.
Did you get asked if you?
I did not get asked.
I didn't either. So I think they might be making this.
But apparently, like somehow that's what they.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
I think it's more than that.
It might. Yeah. It very well may be more than that.
Yeah.
So, but I was kind of like, well, it seems like most people don't, and according to that, it's only 31% of people make New Year's resolutions.
Maybe they ask them maybe around March.
Well, they do. There is a process.
And they ask them did you make a resolution? And they're like, oh no, I didn't. So they don't want to admit it because they didn't hold up to it. We'll get into that.
They check in with people, and I believe it's it's probably not anonymous when they first do it, but I believe that it's anonymous when they check in, so then that way you don't need to feel guilty about telling the truth.
Right.
So the funny thing is it used to be like this one year I looked at, it was 2007. Only 12% of people would follow up. And that's what I suspected. I was like, oh, people don't follow up with that,
Right.
But last year, it was 46%.
Oh, because everybody's at home.
People said, sure. I resolved to do it, and I did it, and I'm proud of it.
Right.
So that's kind of good for all, yay for us, that almost half of the people that make New Year's resolutions, at least last year, followed through with them.
Real quick, too, I want to get this out of the way. Do you make resolutions? Do we make resolutions?
I resolved a while ago to not make New Year's resolutions.
Right.
But
you kind of do.
Yeah, but exactly. But I kind of do.
Yeah.
But what I found out is that if I say I'm going to start this tomorrow, or I'm going to start this next week, I won't do it.
Oh, right.
I have to say, okay, I'm putting this down. I'm going to do this. I'm starting this now, and then I'll follow through with it.
Yeah.
But kind of looking introspectively and looking back, being like, if I say I'm going to do that tomorrow, or like I'm shoving it off before I start, then I don't do it. So if
it's just like your personality.
Yeah.
Like if I say I'm gonna do something later, then you won't.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks because like no matter what you're doing, like you have to say I'm gonna do it.
Now there are exceptions where it's just like this can't get done till Monday because that's not going to happen. But I still usually have to take some type of initial step to make sure that happens on Monday.
Aaron says here, we know if it's a tradition to set a resolution, then Kyle doesn't do them. Oh, that's good.
So do you set New Year's resolutions? You're telling me something that you kind of did last year, but you didn't. You kind of kept it on the down low.
Well, it's not really on the down low. It's like I try not to talk to you about it because like when we have these vlogs, like I don't want to like spoil the conversation. I want it to be all new conversation.
That's true. It's kind of like we actually are just having a conversation.
Yeah,
we don't really talk about what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, we're not preparing. We have like our own like notes of things that we want to make sure we say, but that's about it. But last year, it was suggested to me that I come up with a word of the year, more like something that kind of guides you throughout the year. And my word was patience. And I did find that like just having that throughout the year, now because it wasn't like some kind of like big goal where I wanted to, you know, I'm going to start going to the gym 5 times a day, or 5 times a week. And
5 times a day.
I know, a day.
Oh my God.
I'd be so, okay, but like it was a thing where throughout the year I reminded myself like it's okay, like I should have patience, and I honestly found out that I'm a lot happier whenever I'm patient. Mm-hmm. If I don't have patience and I'm like, oh, it needs to happen now, it needs to do that, I get unhappy.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it needs to be now, and then it's like this weird panicky anxiety about everything.
I remember I had an older guy when I was a kid tell me, he said, patience is the hardest thing to learn because you have to learn it the hard way.
Right.
And that kind of stuck with me. Like anytime I feel I'd get frustrated with something, I'd be like, why isn't this happening? I'd hear that guy being like, you have to learn it the hard way. Right. But it's a good thing to learn.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. You mentioned that, and I was like, man, I should probably like think of, because that's like it's one of the official virtues. So I was like, maybe I should pick one this year, but not say what it is, and then try to work on it.
Well, that way, if something pops up, something happens within your week, or something happens, whatever, you have something that's like kind of a reminder of like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's like that whole LOA thing, man. You put stuff out there, and you kind of can remind yourself, and yada. Anyway, where do like resolutions come from? When did we start doing this? Do you know this stuff?
Yeah, I looked up some stuff, and the earliest record that we have of New Year's resolutions, obviously, like, I'm sure us as a species have been making resolutions to do stuff before we were writing things down.
Sure.
But it's actually the Babylonians had a holiday called Akitu, and what it was is it was...
How's that spelled? I'm sorry.
It's Akitu.
Okay.
So I'm imagining it's Akitu.
Sure.
But it could be...
Akitu.
So what they would do is it was a holiday, and it was the first of their year. I'm assuming it's not January 1st, but it was whatever their calendar was, and whenever they said that the year started, they would reaffirm their allegiance to whoever was king, and then if there was a new king, they would probably coronate the king as soon as the king died, but then they kind of had a holiday to celebrate it on the first of the year, or the first of their year. And then the social norm was to promise to repay debts, and you would return borrowed things. A lot of times someone would say, like, I'm going to let you borrow this for the year, and then give it back to me. So it's kind of like they had little different ceremonies and things. So that kind of started in that culture, and it's been in a lot of other cultures.
Do you have any clue of like how they found out about that holiday?
How
like recent people found out?
How we found? I'm imagining it's.
I'm just curious.
I'm imagining it's through writing. I mean, Babylon was a huge empire that took over like before Rome, and took over most of the known world except like China.
Yeah.
And so when Rome took over, Rome kind of had this, they'd always just kind of take stuff from other cultures and adopt it. but in 46 BC, Julius Caesar changed the calendar that they had into the Roman calendar. That's very similar to our calendar now. And I thought that this was cool. The first month was called Janus, and Janus was named after a god that they said inhabited doorways and archways and had two heads. So one head would look forward and one head would look back. So that's where we get the word January from.
Yeah.
So they would kind of like they'd pray to that god, during their festival or their New Year's party or whatever it was, and then they would kind of make resolutions to, I think it said to have good conduct for the coming year. That was from history.com, so you can go to history.com and look up the modern New Year's origin.
Yeah.
And it was a cool read.
They basically like, we need to behave ourselves, we need to do well in society, be good neighbors.
Yeah, because Janus is watching you, and
Janus
Janus also saw what you did.
Right.
So he knows that you need to make these resolutions to change your ways.
Right, and that's possible why Santa sees you when you're sleeping. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of
knows
creepy.
when you're awake.
Kind of creepy. But
Janice knows when you are sleeping.
Yeah.
So you ever like meet someone named Janice?
Right.
And then you're gonna be like, that's where that name comes from.
Right. No, it's interesting because like the whole thing like to me is like, are they good? Are resolutions good? Are they a good thing that we've adopted and brought in?
Well,
what's your take, like your personal take on that?
My personal take, it kind of goes with LOA. If you don't think of something first, you're probably not going to do it.
Right.
It takes doing something 300 times for it to become reflexive. So like I studied kickboxing when I was a kid, and all the instructors would be like, you got to sit and you got to punch like that over and over and over again. And you have to move your body that way over and over again. So that way when it comes time to act, you don't have to think about it. But you have to think about something until you train yourself to not. So I think resolutions in general are super important. I found a statistic with New Year's resolutions is that they said people that make New Year's resolutions are it's like 96% more likely to follow through with their goals than people that have passive goals.
Right.
And they want to lose weight, but they haven't made a resolution to lose weight.
Sure.
No
matter if that's a New Year's resolution.
Yeah, or if it's just like, nope, today I'm going to do it. I'm going to throw out the cookies or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of like to-do lists, man, and like goal lists and trying to like map out all the things that you want to do. Like even if it's just like to try to figure out what you're doing in your life or any kind of big goals or smaller goals. Maybe we got some of these. You see those?
We got the vast.
Don't say it.
Don't say it out loud. Don't say it loud. But they're back.
The trolls are back.
The spam,
we gotta figure out to do like the moderate. What is it called? Moderators.
Moderators.
You gotta assign somebody to be a moderator. If you want to be a moderator, leave us a comment. We'll hit you up,
know.
and we'll try to figure it out. But like
they really want to sell that product, whatever it is.
It doesn't make it. It doesn't. They're not the same. I don't know what it is. Anyway. But I think it's important to create lists, goal sheets, no matter if you're trying to analyze like your life and like what you want out of life. I mean, do you remember that one time when we were talking about like, I think we both did it where you wrote down like how you wanted your life to look. Mm-hmm. And what would your like ideal day look like? What would you do in that day? What would you eat? What would you do? And do it. Most of it, you come to find out like you don't need anything. You already have all of that. It's all in here is what's keeping you from doing those things.
Yeah, I remember that was last year or the year before.
It was a couple years. Yeah, it was a couple 2 or 3 years ago.
It was like if you had all the money in the world and you had nothing to worry about, what would you do as soon as you got up?
Yeah.
And and then what would you do later in the day, and you just kind of plan out how that day would look. And I found out like it doesn't take all the money in the world to do those things.
Right.
It doesn't take any more money than I have right now to do all those things.
Yeah. So and that kind of goes back around where I do think that resolutions are good in a lot of ways. I think that they're positive things. I think that setting goals and creating mindsets for yourself, like whether if it's be a word for the year, like how I did last year, or even just like targeted goals where you're like, I'm going to start that diet. I'm going to, like, I've had a lot of people tell me they're starting diets this year, or they said they're quitting smoking in a couple of days, this, that, and the other, which if you're quitting smoking out there, props to you. It is hard to do. I remember when I was smoking cigarettes, man, like it was like, I never thought I was going to quit smoking cigarettes. I was like, I'm just going to smoke for the rest of my life. So good on you for choosing to do that. But I think that they're good. I think that those are things, but as a counter argument, are they bad? Are they negative things?
Well, I found, like, I went through those statistics and I found like the reasons why people fail, because it wasn't that long ago where, at least during the polling, it was like most people would fail. It was, I think there was also more people were doing them, but it was like only 12% of people would follow through. And the last year, the people that were polled, the 64% of people that didn't follow through, or the 54% of people that didn't follow through, they said that the reason, 35% of people said that they felt that they set unrealistic goals, and then 33% said that they felt that they failed because they weren't keeping track of their progress. And then 23% that they just forgot that they made them. That sounds like me. That sounds like me.
That does sound like you.
And
I was supposed to do that thing.
And then 10% said that they felt they made too many and that it was too much to manage.
Right.
So those are definitely things, or reasons why resolutions could be negative.
Yeah, because I would imagine it would affect your psyche pretty hard. Especially the thing is, it's like if you set these unrealistic goals. If you analyze, you just are like, I'm going to do this A, B, or C. Mm-hmm. And then you don't achieve them because maybe it's not quite possible for you to be there because there's so many steps to get there. And even if you achieve like maybe one of those few steps to get to said big goal, and if you don't realize you're not processing it, you still feel like a failure. You might stop. You might not continue to get to this goal even though you made it here, my little hands, I
don't know what to do with my hands.
Where's my thing? Anyway, but like, even if you've accomplished something to get there, it's like you're almost getting there, you might just stop. And then you're going to beat yourself up about it and maybe not even set a goal the next time, or feel so bad on yourself. Maybe you'll get worse. Maybe it'll plummet. Maybe like that action or that thing that you're trying to do, you're just going to be like, screw it. I suck. I'm a loser, or you know what I'm talking about?
We talked about that a couple of weeks ago, where it was like, you're successful as soon as you decide to be successful, because only you can know what success means to you. Yeah. So making progress is progress.
Yeah.
I remember I read a book called The 4D Songwriter.
Yeah.
A while ago. It was a really good book. He didn't pay me to say this, but like, go pick it up. It's good.
And deposit that check. Just kidding.
But one thing he said you have to set realistic goals. And the thing about realistic or unrealistic doesn't mean that it's too big for you to handle. Unrealistic means that it doesn't exist in the real world. There's no tangible way of achieving it because you haven't said, like, I am going to do this in this amount of time, or whatever it is. Like, for musicians, an unrealistic goal would be to be famous.
Right.
Because that's not a thing.
I mean, what percentage of musicians actually become to that, or go to that level? I mean, that's got to be like this, like 2%,
well,
1%.
But it depends on what you mean, because so an unrealistic goal would be to be famous, but a realistic goal would to say, I want to sell this many albums, tour in this many cities, and make X amount of dollars doing it.
Right.
And those are realistic goals because those are things that you can actually work towards. Where if it's just something of like, I want to be famous, like, you're never going to get there because it's not there in the first place.
Yeah, even if you've played in like so many cities and all the surrounding states that you live in, you've sold, hundreds of CDs or digital copies, whatever people are buying, and you still feel like a loser. You still feel like you failed, and that's how resolutions can be negative. So they can be bad. So are resolutions bad? They can be.
I think overall it's good.
Yeah.
It's good to set goals, and again, we talked about that when we were talking about success.
Yeah.
You're like, you got to set goals, and resolutions are a way of, what did we say? Making a firm decision to do or not do something. So having a firm goal.
Firm.
But no, I mean, I remember like in my blog entry last week, I was like, I didn't want it to seem like I was dogging resolutions. I was just saying like, I don't make them this way because they don't work for me.
Well, Kyle thinks it's cool to say that he doesn't. So if you're like, oh man, I love Mandalorian, I haven't seen it. You know, or you're like, oh dude, have you watched the new Boba Fett? He's like, no, I haven't watched that.
I did watch the new Boba Fett, and it's awesome.
It is good.
I want to talk about that for a minute. So like, I went into it thinking that I probably wouldn't like it because I was never like, Boba Fett's my favorite. You know what I mean?
I mean, he only had like a minute or 4 minutes of screen time.
Yeah,
anyway,
like in the originals.
Ever.
It was just this. He was kind of like, they made a toy of him.
Yeah.
Because I think his name was never said.
Yeah, it was said, but it wasn't said in the movie, but it was in the credits.
In the credits, it was. Okay.
Yeah.
But I went and I was like, this is really good. Like they did a really, really good job with it. So I'm excited for it. I thought it was good. We should maybe do like a react or like a watch party or something.
Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
We can all hang out. If y'all are fans of Mandalorian, let us know if that's something you want to do.
Mandalorian, Boba Fett, whichever one. I know they're supposed to do the Mandalorian season 3 next year, I think. So that'd be cool.
And Kenobi's coming out too.
Yeah, Kenobi's coming. That's coming out this year.
I'm so bummed about
Hayden Christensen's like making a return.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what's gonna happen.
I don't know.
Oh, so I remember like watching the trailers for Boba Fett, and they had the line was like, you know, you sit on the throne of your former employer. Yeah. And I remember like watching YouTube videos, people were like, I think it's this guy saying it. Like, oh no, it's this guy. It kind of sounds like this. And then it was just like this brand.
Spoilers.
It's a brand new character that's
there you go.
It's a brand new character that says it. So I kind of want to go back and watch some of those videos and be like, well, what do you think about that? Because you had this plan of like, no, it's gonna link and they're gonna bring this character back in, and it was just like this new dude.
Right, it's a new guy. Yeah. Anyway, so our resolutions are to watch more Boba Fett, right? So when the new episodes come out, we will resolve that we're gonna watch more.
I feel like that's a realistic goal.
That's a realistic goal.
I think like on Wednesday nights, I'm gonna watch TV. It's real. You can make it happen.
Achievable.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, with all that though, did you set a resolution this year? If you guys are there in the comments with us, let us know. Did you set a resolution? Did you actually make one? Are you thinking of making one? What's up?
I did not go on at 11:59
right
on December 31st and be like, no, now I'm gonna start doing this. No, but like it is a new year, and we got new stuff coming up. We got new things we're working on, and it does to me feel like a reset. Like, okay, like this is where we're going. This is what we're gonna do, and like I feel good about it. But I can't say that I like specifically made like a specific resolution. You know.
Right.
So yeah, did you?
No, I didn't really, but I've been thinking about it.
You still can.
Yeah.
You can do it right now.
Well, like I said, like last year, like having that word patience to me, I'm like, maybe I'll just do that again. But I've still been doing it. I mean, it's what day is it? January something? It's like our first one back of the year, but it's past the New Year's. And I've still reminded myself, like, hey, have patience, be calm. It's okay. But I think that's just something in my personality as a total, not just like a year per year. I need to remind myself to like, it's okay to not be running. Mm-hmm. Slow down, take a walk. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be running all the time. Mm-hmm. Have patience, but I do know like there's many key words that I've been thinking about, like passion, for instance, like being passionate about what I'm doing, and the goals that I am working through is finding that passion, those breakthroughs of that negative self to where you can find that joy. These are things that I've been thinking about. But as far as a big goal, I have not. But I haven't set big goals like that for the year in a long time. Because I mean, honestly, you know me, and those of you out there watching this that watch us regularly or know us personally, you know, like Kyle and I both, like we're always setting goals, personal goals, whether that be dieting goals, exercise goals, career goals.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of those, and I do have some for this year, and even Kyle and I were supposed to be having a work day this weekend. I think hopefully we were talking about that afterwards, but setting those goals of like, what does this year really look like? You know, what are we doing? And figuring all that stuff out. So if you're out there and you're like me or like Kyle and you haven't really set up those kind of things, I mean, maybe just think about how you want to approach those things and set those goals. It doesn't have to be on January 1st. It doesn't have to be January 3rd. It doesn't have to be December 31st. Like, set your goals whenever you want to set your goals, and maybe find something to help remind you to help get through those goals. Make sure they're realistic.
Well, and I know one thing. It helps being a musician, and this is probably something that I can reaffirm this year, but it's kind of something that we've almost kind of had to do. Is I feel like when you're an independent musician, especially, you have to think 6 months ahead all the time.
Yeah.
So, and I remember like for a while, you know, it would be summer and I would feel cold because I was thinking about December or January, you know, because I was like, well, this is where we are in the calendar and we want to have this release and we want it to be this way. But I think that, you know, if it's not something that you're forced to do, I think that's a good thing to do, is imagine just in a fun way. It doesn't have to be in this, like, I gotta write all this shit down, you know, kind of a thing. But like, you know, it's January. Imagine what June is like. And, you know, where would you want to be there? Because if you can see where you want to be, you can kind of, you know, you can reverse engineer it, you know, and figure out where that path is. I remember a lot of people told me that, especially with a music career, they're like, think of where you want to be, and then think of like that stopping point of like, this is where I feel that I've made it, and then what does that day before that look like? And then what does the month before that look like?
Right.
And then you'll find where you are now and where that is, and you'll find that path that way.
Right.
So I think that's a good way to think.
Rebecca says here, that's a gift to feel cold during a Georgia summer.
It does get hot down here.
It gets hot. And then it gets cold right away. And then it gets
extra cold.
And then
like
it gets windy.
Yeah.
Like the other day, it was seriously like 70-something degrees in my house. I had to turn on the air conditioner. And then like the next day, that night, I was like, oh, I heard it was supposed to be ice, so I better turn on the heater before I go to sleep, even though I feel comfortable now. Because then the next morning I woke up and it was just frost and frozen everywhere.
Yeah.
So Georgia's weird, man. Georgia's weird. But yeah, I think set reasonable goals. I think work through them.
And they don't have to be small goals.
And they don't have to be small.
Like I found that out. Like, that's what really hit me when I read that. It was like, don't be afraid of your big goals.
Right.
Just make them real.
Don't be afraid of the big ones.
Yeah.
You know, the small ones are okay. It's about the
Small
motion.
ones are okay too.
It's about the motion in the ocean.
Yeah. It's about what you're working with. So do you know how to use your goals?
Do you know how to
They can be
use
small.
Your goals? They could be big
Your
goals.
goals can still please you.
Big chunky goals. Big veiny goals.
Oh my God.
But anyway, I think that wraps up the topic. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I think so. I think they're good. If you guys have anything to add to that, make sure you guys put it there in the comments so we can check in on it.
And if you have something that you have accomplished and you're proud of it, let us know.
We'll shout it out, man. But before we go, we would like to remind everybody here that we have our merch still available over there on storefrontier.com/Roshambeaux. All sizes guaranteed in stock. That's wrong. We recently discovered that a couple of sizes were out.
There are a couple sizes out. Okay.
But
Disclaimer.
But they will be getting the sizes back in soon. I think it's just that whole supply chain weird
There's
stuff.
a lot of supply chain stuff that's going
whole
on where it's like,
thing.
oh, this is out, and we thought it was in, and it's not.
Yeah. But yeah, as a wrap up, I think resolutions are good. I think they can be bad if you're setting unrealistic goals. I think that's what we figured out tonight.
Aaron says, I think it helps to have a little less conversation.
And a little more action.
Yeah.
Hey, yo. But yeah, I think that's what it is. And I set your resolutions, man. Whether if that just be a reminder, don't do them. Whatever you need to do, be happy. But it is important to set goals, right?
Absolutely.
I think that's a good sum. But also to reiterate, we do have shows coming up. Kyle, what are the shows?
We are going to be in Anderson. And we are going to
January
be,
22nd.
And then we're going to be in Somerville.
January 28th.
And then we are going to be in Augusta.
January 29th. So come out of those places. We're really excited to be back at these places. We're excited to be getting back playing. We always say and laugh about like we wouldn't have rehearsals, but we're going to be having some rehearsals here soon because you go that long without playing. You know, all right. Yeah. So we're excited for these. Come out and check those out. The new record, we're going to have the hard copies in hand in just a week or so. Be on the lookout for that. We're super pumped about that. And it'd be cool to have like the finished product.
It's always great when you actually get the hard
copy.
copy.
And then there it is.
I watched an interview. I think it was Trent Reznor. He was just talking about how like there's still some kind of magic to like having music in your hand.
In your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that you don't. It's hard to get that opportunity a lot because you don't usually go to the store and just be like, I'm gonna go to the CDs or to the vinyl or to the tapes or whatever it is. You usually have to like set a goal, you know, to go to that band's website and get a hard copy. You know?
Right.
But there is something magic about it.
Because it's already out. Like we've had it on our website for weeks. It comes out on Spotify in a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, on the 18th.
On the 18th.
You can pre-save it now.
Pre-save it. You pre-save it now, but it comes out on the 18th on that, and we've already released it, but like it doesn't really feel like it.
It doesn't feel like it's released yet.
In your hand.
Well, and I know like we did the car test.
Yeah.
Like musicians know about the car. You got to do the car test before you release something.
Yeah.
You go listen to what you did in the car, and we put a CD in the car, and there's something about CDs for me still. Where I'm like, man, that just sounds so good.
Yeah, I blogged about it a few weeks ago, I guess. At this point, about getting that balance between those hard limiters and the volume of like what's expected from CDs.
Yeah, it's like a different mix.
But I'm really excited at the things I chose to do.
It sounds smooth.
It sounds good.
Smooth. Yeah.
I like it. Okay. But also, we would like to take a quick second and shout out everyone over there on Patreon.
Y'all are awesome.
You guys are awesome. If you're not over there, please consider go check out patreon.com/Roshambeaux. We're actually putting up a new video tomorrow morning because I think it's finished. We were talking about that earlier. And then get in on there so you can do the requests so that way you can help us decide what we're doing next.
Yeah, because it's all the people on Patreon help us decide what we do next. And there's also there's a bunch of videos. It's not just this next video, but there's a bunch of other videos like last month's video, the month before, that they're on there. And then there's also some only Patreon exclusive that just is not ever going to get released.
Some of the first ones that we did when we were like scrambling to go like, what are we doing? And we did some really cool covers then too. So you can even if you don't want to get into all that and you just want to show your support for as little as $1, man, you guys, we'll give you a shout out
every week in the
blog, and you have early access to merch and music. So we try to make it worth it for everybody. You're gonna get more than that $1 back, I promise. But check it out. We're super grateful for you guys. You are the reason why this stuff happens. So, and see Rachel there. She says, I can't wait to see the new video.
Yeah.
See? Rachel knows. So if you're wondering like how cool is Patreon, I don't know, and you're on the fence, ask Rachel.
She'll tell you.
She'll tell you. It's cool. It's cool. But that's gonna do it for us, you guys. Thank you for joining us here. We'll be back next Thursday. For another fun topic. We got to figure out what the topic's going to be.
Let us know in the comments if you guys want to talk about something specifically.
Yeah.
Because we started this because we just needed to come up with random things to chat about to stay awake.
Yeah.
And we'll probably be doing some of that this week.
And I needed
not
to do
this week,
that,
but this month with the upcoming shows. So.
Yeah, I needed to do that today because man, that cheese brain from doing those videos, dude. But anyway, we love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys next Thursday. Later. We love you.
Love you guys.